Okay, David, your box has arrived. Let's go ahead and get things opened up here. I might have to slip off camera just to keep everybody's identities preserved. Why don't I just go through this? See what that does. Yeah, that'll do it. Good. Okay. Okay, let's have a close look at what we've got here. Well, very nice. So this is your watch, and by your watch I mean this is the watch you wear and that you have worn since you bought this, which is just fantastic. Very cool. Alright, so this is a 1984 Seiko 6309 7049. So this should have the longer text at the bottom. 84 watch. It's just in stunning condition. Very cool. This is a movement and dial Japan, cased Hong Kong. Okay, a little fog under your crystal just from time. It looks to me as though somebody put some lume on their dial at some point in its life. It's interesting. And you have a replacement insert, so that's perhaps a replacement? No, maybe not. I mean, it's really interesting because it has the peaked triangle here. The lume has probably been redone on the pip. That's what's throwing me off here. I think somebody's loomed your watch at some point and just basically did all the lume. If they did your dial, if that's correct, then they did a really nice clean job on each of one of the plots. I'd be interested to know. Let me have a little look here. Turn off my light. See how this responds. Yeah, that looks a little newer than what I would expect. Anyway, whatever they've done it nicely. So it's not a bad job. Okay. So again, 84. Crown screws down well. Your date seems to be a bit off. See if I can get that to quick set. No. Okay, so that seems to be in a weird state. Crystal's pretty good. Okay, condition-wise, good. You know, some issues lurking underneath here we can get to. Your hands look nice. They look pretty good. Nice and flat. Okay. Got your click ball still. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and take your bracelet off, and we are going to have a look at your movement just to see kind of where things stand at the moment. Give me one moment. I'll be right back. Okay, David, we're back. I went ahead and loosened your case back, so I haven't taken anything off yet. I want to do this together. So let's go ahead and peek inside. Okay, so I see a mark in the back. So it means somebody has done some work here at some point in its life. But looks very dry and very clean, which is very nice to see. It's always what we want. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. These movements are just so robust. They can last and last. They have some Achilles heels, of course, and that's what our service process hopes to take care of, is to make sure that things like this floppy mess that is your arbor gets taken care of. You know, that is where, commensurate with wearing the watch every day for 40 years. I mean, it leads to, you can see this screw head. I mean, you've got so much wear that I'll bet that this ratchet wheel has dug into your plate. I mean, I've seen some loose ones, but that one is probably about the loosest I've seen. So the fact that it's not running great, that's not surprising. Of course, we have some other things to think about. I can actually feel your ratchet wheel rubbing up against your plate. Wow. All right. We're going to go ahead and put this on the time grapher without much anticipation of, you know, of a quality signal. It might be good in terms of like some cleanliness, but probably not a lot of amplitude left. So let's go ahead and have a look. We'll be right back. Okay, well, I was wrong. It's not even quite good enough to keep the time grapher listening. The signal is so poor that it just kind of gives up. So you can see there is some signal coming in. It's something like a microphone that just picks up the tick-tock of the watch, but it only gets a few tenths of a second in and says, I can't make anything out from what you're telling me. So it is really quite poor. And that's why it's here. You know, we're going to get it better. This is not a a commentary on the watch. It's simply just a commentary on a watch that needs service. And that's where you are at the moment. So let's get back to the bench and we'll finish up. Okay, dude. Well, I think what this is telling us is that you have a watch that, Seiko probably never intended for anybody to wear for 40 years. But it's still surprisingly, chugging along and making time. The thing about a watch that has this many hours on the wrist is that with a 17 joule movement like this, you have at least two of the the jewels in the plate are actually not jewels at all. They're bushings, metal bushings. And metal against metal wear for 40 years, probably with maybe one service in its lifetime, means that there could be some wear. There are other areas where wear can occur, and we will have to look at all of those surfaces and all of those tolerances very closely just to be sure that what we're doing leads to a good outcome, the watch running at its peak performance. I will check all of those things, of course, as we go through the service process. If something needs to be replaced, like a jewel, I have the jewels in stock. We can just do that. It's not out of the question, and it's certainly something we can do. I don't foresee there being any major issues. Maybe a jewel here or there to replace a bushing, but honestly, you should be in good shape for the most part. I will look at your keyless works, which controls your quick day and date change, to ensure that you're actually flipping over the day or the date, which it's currently not doing. So that's important, and that will go into, of course, either we will need to think about a replacement piece that goes in here, or we will try and fix the one that's in there. All yet to be determined by what I see when I get deeper. So that means the dial and hands, of course, have to come off, and it's just part of the service as well, is to check those components. So that will be something I will be looking at closely as we get in. So overall, great looking watch, really cool. I think there's been some interesting work in the past, definitely some good hands. If somebody did relume this watch, it doesn't look quite the way that one of these should in terms of the pattern of the loom. So that indicates perhaps relooming at some point. But if they did that, they did a really good job. Okay, well, I'll be in touch. Thanks for watching.